There is a moment the world sleeps, and the soul wakes. Not everyone sees it, fewer still honor it. But those who do, step into a realm untouched by noise, unswayed by time. Midnight is not merely a number on a clock, it is a threshold. A divine hinge between what has been and what could be. Imagine it, a quiet street bathed in moonlight. The city holds its breath. The traffic has hushed. The lamps glow like watchful spirits. And somewhere, a single candle flickers on an altar. There is no movement, but there is presence. There is stillness, but there is power. Midnight is not darkness. It is deep listening. It is the hour when the veil thins and the laws of the invisible draw closer to the surface of your life. It is the hour when the words you speak are no longer echo, they are blueprint. They imprint on the divine substance around you. They shape the invisible clay of tomorrow. You see, the ancients knew what modern minds forget. There are windows in time that do not open with hands, but with awareness. Midnight is one of them. A gate hidden in plain sight. A passage that requires no passport, no permission, only presence. And what if I told you, right now, that the words you choose at midnight are not passive? What if they are the architects of your next morning? What if the phrases you whisper into the dark are keys turning unseen locks in the corridors of your destiny? What if wealth listened when the world went silent? This is not myth. This is not magic. This is law. The power of the tongue is not bound by daylight. Florence Scovel Shinn taught that your word is your wand. And at midnight, that wand glows with a sharper edge. The law of assumption is not just active at midnight, it is accelerated. Your subconscious is unguarded, softened, more porous. The conscious mind is tired. The ego's grip is loosened. Your declarations sink deeper. The soil is fertile. The command becomes creation. But not all words should be spoken in this sacred hour. This is not a time for complaining, questioning, or begging. It is a time for declaring, for aligning, for commanding your reality with reverence. Midnight is a spiritual mirror. It does not reflect your doubts. It reflects your faith. It does not bend to desperation. It responds to conviction. Picture it. You alone in a room. The lights dim. The air still. You close your eyes. Your hand rests gently on your heart. And you speak not to be heard by others, but to be received by the law. Am the vessel of divine supply. Money comes to me now, quietly and without resistance. I stand at the gate of abundance, and I do not knock, I enter. You are not casting spells, you are speaking from spiritual law. You are not wishing, you are remembering. Midnight is not a cry for help, it is a song of certainty. This is the law of substitution at work. In this hour, you substitute doubt with dominion, fear with favor, emptiness with expectation. Let your words be chosen like sacred stones, let them be few, but firm, gentle, but unshakable. Let them rise from within, not from need, but from knowing. And if you feel resistance, pause, breathe, then speak again. Midnight is not about performing, it is about positioning. You are placing yourself in harmony with the divine current. You are remembering that you are not waiting for wealth to find you. You are commanding it from the throne of your inner temple. So light a candle if you must. Write a phrase on paper. Sit by the window. Let the moon remind you of what is always circling, always returning, always ready. And speak, not loudly, not nervously, but like someone who knows that their word is law. Because in the divine court of midnight, it is. Let your midnight declarations rise like incense. Let them lift into the unseen with grace and gravity. The universe does not need shouting, it responds to alignment. Say, I walk in unseen favor. Prosperity finds me sleeping. By dawn, the way will open. Do not ask how, that belongs to the divine orchestra. You are not the conductor. You are the voice that sets the score. End this hour with stillness. Let the words hang in the quiet. Let the law move. You've done your part. Now rest, trust, receive. As the candle fades and the clock moves on, know this: something unseen has shifted. A spiritual instruction has been given, and wealth has been told where to find you. By morning, you will not be the same. This is the power of the midnight portal. There is a sacred moment when silence ends, and in that moment, what you say becomes what you see. This is not superstition. This is spiritual law. Florence Scovel Shinn called it divine authority. She said, your word is your wand. And she meant every syllable. She was not speaking in poetry. She was delivering prophecy. You are not merely talking when you speak, you are creating. Every word that leaves your mouth carries the voltage of belief, the vibration of intention, the spark of spiritual substance. Speech is not just sound, it is seed. Each sentence you utter is like a command written into the invisible soil of the universe, and midnight, that holy threshold between day and dawn, is the most potent hour to plant, because at midnight, the conscious mind quiets, the soul listens, and the world becomes soft like fertile ground, ready to receive your word. This is the law of the spoken word. It declares that the universe responds not to emotion alone, but to declared truth, not to begging, but to boldness, not to wishful thinking, but to spoken certainty. In the beginning was the Word. These are not just religious echoes. They are cosmic blueprints. Creation begins with declaration, not thought, not desire, not fear, but word. When you speak with faith, you are not asking the universe. You are instructing it. You are not describing your lack. You are announcing your abundance. You are not naming the problem. You are initiating the solution. Your mouth is not a mirror. It is a brush painting tomorrow's reality on the canvas of now. Most people speak what they see. They say, I'm broke, I'm tired, I'm stuck, and life simply obeys. But you, listener of truth, are not here to describe. You are here to decide. Your words are not reflections. They are revolutions. Your speech must become sacred. Your tongue must be trained in trust. When you say, I am wealthy, at the stroke of midnight, you are not lying. You are realigning. You are returning to the divine template that was always yours. Imagine each word you speak as a luminous seed, gently placed in the invisible garden of your tomorrow. Now ask yourself, what harvest are you planting? Words of fear grow weeds of delay. Words of doubt build walls of resistance. But words of faith, they carve open gates of gold. This is the law. Speak not as a beggar, but as an heir. Speak not as one who is trying, but as one who already has. Speak as one who knows. You are not powerless. You are prophetic. And midnight is your altar. Say it now. Let the walls of your room hold the echo. Let the ethers record it. Let the soul of money feel it. Every word I speak at midnight builds the world I walk into at dawn. Wealth follows my words. Prosperity obeys my voice. Divine supply responds to my command. There is no magic in begging. There is power in precision. Declare it, and do not look back. Even if your bank account whispers lack. Even if the world around you shouts struggle. Even if no one believes it but you. Speak anyway, because you are not reporting the news, you are writing the next headline. The law of the spoken word requires only one thing from you, faith spoken aloud. This is not about volume, it's about vibration, the tone of your spirit, the clarity of your knowing, the authority in your voice. You can whisper your truth, and the mountains will still move, but only if your soul believes what your lips proclaim. Practice this nightly, at the edge of sleep, when the veil is thin, when thought slips into spirit, without resistance. Speak, repeat this truth, with presence. My words are divine codes. What I declare now must appear in my world. If fear comes, bless it. If doubt lingers, release it. Do not wrestle with shadows. Your focus is not on what is, your focus is on what must be. Let your words lead the way. Let them become the rhythm of your rebirth. And as the clock ticks into a new morning, know this, you have not just spoken. You have commanded. You have not just wished. You have rewritten your reality. And now, everything begins to move. Wealth is listening. Your new world is forming. Stay in this knowing, and prepare for what comes next. Because the next breath of this journey leads to the law of faith's agreement, the law that makes invisible wealth visible. Let's walk there now. There are words we speak so often, we forget they are spells, not the dramatic kind, but the kind that quietly seals our fate. Daily incantations of lack disguised as casual truth. And it begins like this. I can't afford that. Money never stays. I'm just not lucky with finances. Harmless phrases, right? But each one is a seed planted in the invisible soil of your subconscious, and the soil does not ask if the seed was planted on purpose. It simply grows. Florence Scovel Shinn taught that our words are not comments, they are commands. They direct the divine current flowing through our lives. When we speak defeat, we instruct the universe to align with that story. And it does. You may think you're being realistic, but realism, when rooted in fear, is just masked limitation. The truth is, fear has mastered the art of camouflage. It hides behind logic. It dresses itself as caution. It wears the mask of being humble, but underneath it all, it is still fear. This is where the law of substitution must be understood. You cannot speak poverty and expect wealth to arrive. You cannot hold two opposing truths and manifest the one you don't nurture. You must replace lack with life-giving speech. One truth must dissolve so the higher one may rise. It is like trying to carry water in a cracked bucket. You pour and pour, but it leaks out through the fractures of your own confession. You say the affirmations, but then you cancel them out with a single doubtful whisper. Maybe it's not meant for me. So the bucket leaks. And the blessing waits. Now imagine instead a sacred golden cup, whole, clean, reverent. Everything you pour into it, you receive. This is your mind. When your words align with divine truth, so we begin the sacred reframe. I can't afford, that becomes divine. Supply provides for all my needs now. Money never stays, becomes I am a joyful steward of increasing wealth. I'm not lucky, becomes I am divinely guided in all financial matters. It is not just what you say. It is how you say it. Say it with conviction, not wishfulness. With reverence, not desperation. Now, take a breath and ask yourself, gently but honestly, what phrases have I been speaking that block the flow of wealth? Write them down. Not to shame yourself, but to reclaim your power. Journaling brings hidden patterns into the light. And in the light, they dissolve. This is where transformation begins. Not in shouting new affirmations into the dark, but in first extinguishing the old ones that echo in the corners of your mind. The tongue is a tool of resurrection or ruin. You choose, and tonight, you choose resurrection. Let this awareness guide you as we now step deeper into the sacred vocabulary that opens heaven's vaults. There is a moment in every soul's journey where the begging must stop, where the chasing must cease, where the voice that once trembled learns to command. You were never meant to plead with the universe like a forgotten child. You were not born to whisper wishes into the dark, hoping someone is listening. You are the speaker, the scribe, the sovereign soul who carries the ink of heaven on your tongue. Florence Scovel Shinn said, "Man must prepare for the thing he has asked for, even though there is no sign of it." Why? Because the preparation affirms your identity. Because the act of declaring is the sign that you believe. And belief, my friend, is the builder. You are not a servant to wealth. You are not a victim of vibration. You are its master. You are the architect of atmosphere. You carry within you the divine blueprint etched into your very being by the infinite mind. You are the queen at midnight, rising in sacred stillness. The world sleeps, but you speak, and what you speak echoes. A decree does not ask, it announces, and the universe moves to fulfill it. Picture this now. A great hall made of silence and starlight. You step forward. In your hand, a scroll, each word written in golden ink, sacred and specific. You speak, not with noise, but with knowing. Not in desperation, but in divine rhythm. This is who you truly are. The voice of divine intention in human form. When you speak lack, you fracture that voice. When you speak doubt, you blur your design. But when you speak from alignment, from reverence, from identity, the soul's compass points due north, and the world rearranges itself to meet you. This is your inheritance. To know, not guess. To declare, not wish. To stand, not shrink. Let these words be etched upon your heart. I do not plead, I declare. I do not chase, I receive. Say it now. Feel it. Awaken the divine architect within. Feel the old begging energy dissolve like mist in the morning sun. You are not asking for scraps. You are speaking as heir to the entire field, and the field responds. You were never meant to sit at the edge of your life, waiting to be chosen. You are the chosen one, chosen by divine mind to represent abundance, chosen to restore the balance of truth in a world noisy with fear, and that power rests not in what you do, but in what you say. You speak not from the wounds of your past, but from the wisdom of your soul. You speak not to prove something to the world, but to remind yourself of what has always been true. Even your silence carries authority now, because when a soul knows its power, it no longer needs to shout. It simply speaks, with reverence, with clarity, with trust. When you say, I am wealthy, you are not hoping for coins to fall. You are invoking your spiritual birthright. You are awakening the memory of divine supply encoded in your DNA. Your words are not small, they are not random, they are keys. And every time you speak with alignment, you unlock another gate. Gate of provision, gate of opportunity, gate of favor, gate of divine connection. And if you listen closely, you'll hear the inner shift before the outer change. You'll feel the atmosphere respond. Not because you forced it, but because you remembered who you are. You are the vessel and the voice. You are the altar and the fire. You are the lawmaker of your own land. The sewer of unseen gardens. Close your eyes again, not to escape, but to enter. Enter that inner temple. See yourself standing tall, wrapped in light. Your words no longer scatter in fear. They land, they root, they grow. From this place, speak your affirmations like sacred vows. Let them rise from your belly and bloom through your chest. I speak as one with divine authority. I shape worlds with my words. I am the oracle of my own abundance. Say them again and again until they do not feel like affirmations anymore, but identity, because that's what this is. A return to identity, a homecoming to your divine speech. Let every word you speak from this moment forward be laced with reverence and certainty. You are not a visitor in this world of creation. You are the voice it's been waiting for. And as we continue, bring this sacred identity with you. Speak not as one who hopes, but as one who knows. For the gates of abundance open not to the loudest voice, but to the most aligned one. The world quiets at midnight, but heaven listens closer. The clocks may slow, the winds may hush, but the divine clock never sleeps. This is not the hour of panic. It is the hour of power, not the hour of evidence, but of expectancy. You have reached the sacred still point, not because something is wrong, but because something is right. You are being invited into alignment with the law of divine timing, the law that says, delay is not denial, silence is not absence, stillness is not stagnation. Midnight does not rush, midnight unfolds, like a lotus in the dark, like a seed planted in moonlight, unseen by the world yet breaking open in the soil with silent fire. If you feel like nothing is happening, it's because everything is beneath in the way your eyes can see. Faith is not born in proof. It is born in pause. Florence Scovel Shinn wrote, never do today what intuition says to do tomorrow. Why? Because divine mind moves with precision, not pressure. Because what is aligned will arrive not a moment too late, and never a second too soon. So when midnight finds you, don't knock louder, don't pace the floors of your soul, don't beg the universe for a faster answer. Instead, become still, enough to hear the door unlocking. Picture this now. A seed in your palm, you press it into the earth. No crowd gathers, no trumpets sound, but beneath the surface, roots begin to write the future. The law is already at work. It does not need to announce itself. It only asks, will you wait with reverence? Faith at midnight is not loud, it is not flashy. It is the soul whispering, I trust what I cannot see. It is the heart leaning in, even when the world pulls away. And yet, somewhere in that quiet hour, a shift begins. The divine current turns. The invisible hand moves the pieces you didn't know existed. And what was once stuck starts to rise toward you. Let me tell you a story. There was a woman who had nothing left. Not in her bank, not in her heart, not in her hope. But she had one thing. A voice. And a belief that maybe, just maybe, God was still listening. So she woke at midnight. She lit a candle, not for light, but for remembrance. She stood barefoot on her living room floor, and said aloud, I do not walk alone. I am not without supply. Money moves toward me now not by force, but by divine design. And then she went to sleep. By morning, the tide had shifted. An unexpected refund, a message from an old client, a door that had been shut now slightly ajar, not because she worked harder, but because she believed deeper. The world will always tempt you to panic at midnight. But faith says, be still. The law is already in motion. This is your invitation to release the urgency, to sit at the altar of divine rhythm, to stop digging up the seed, to check if it's working. It is, and it doesn't need your worry to grow. It needs your trust. Let your midnight be holy. Let it be sacred. Light a candle if you need to. Not for magic, but to remind your subconscious. This is the hour of alignment. not anxiety. This is where I choose faith over force. Say these words softly into the night. I trust the invisible law that moves while I sleep. Again, slower this time. Let the words melt into your nervous system. Let them rewire the part of you that only felt safe with control. You don't need control. You need agreement with the divine order that never fails. The soul that trusts divine timing sleeps without resistance. And while you rest, money travels. Ideas stir. Calls prepare. Provision takes shape like dew forming quietly on grass. You don't chase the blessing. You become the match for it. You don't demand the outcome. You dissolve the block. You step into congruence, into expectancy, into flow. Midnight may look like a pause, but it is the inhale before the miracle, the hush before the curtain rises, the moment when heaven says, watch, I am doing a new thing. So tonight, let your room become your sanctuary. Let your breath slow. Let your thoughts be unburdened. And as your head rests, may your soul rise. May your subconscious be drenched in divine expectancy. Because money moves toward those who trust, not just in the light, but in the dark, not only in proof, but in promise. And when the sun rises, you will not just wait, you will receive. Now, take this trust into the next step of your journey. Let the energy of faith lead you forward, for what you speak next will carry the charge of belief. Midnight has prepared the atmosphere. Now your words will shape the outcome. Midnight is not just a moment. It is a portal, a silent cathedral where spirit listens. It is not the time for fear. It is the hour of command. In the quietest part of the night, your voice echoes loudest in the invisible realm, not because of volume, but because of vibration. At midnight, your words ring like bells in the halls of divine order. And so, you do not whisper your poverty. You declare your wealth. This is the law of the tongue in motion. Florence Scovel Shinn taught that words are not mere sound, they are seeds. And when planted at the gates of midnight, they bloom with divine precision. These are not casual affirmations. These are holy decrees, sacred statements forged in spiritual authority. Speak them with intention. Let each word leave your lips like a king's command to his kingdom. Let each pause hold silence like a prayer. Let your breath carry the power of the source that created you. Stand if you can. Face the dark like it's your witness. Candlelight beside you. A heart lit within you. Now, declare with boldness. Feel the shift. Feel the atmosphere move. Declaration 1. Money is not separate from me. It is my divine inheritance. Feel that truth settle into your bones. You are not chasing what already belongs to you. Wealth is not foreign. It is familiar. It knows your name. It has been circling you, waiting for your command. Declaration 2. I speak with the voice of source. My words create wealth now. Visualize golden waves flowing from your tongue. See them wrapping around your future like silk. Every syllable you speak builds the bridges you'll walk on tomorrow. You are no longer silent about your abundance. You are the builder of it. Declaration 3. Midnight hears me. Wealth obeys me. There is power in timing. There is glory in alignment. Midnight is the moment where belief and boldness meet. And when you speak from that space, even the unseen listens. Money begins to move. Not randomly, but obediently. Declaration. For I am the channel of divine prosperity. Money flows to me from all directions. See rivers, see waterfalls, see invisible highways opening in the spirit. You are not waiting for one door to open. You are the field through which supply flows. Money no longer visits. It dwells. Declaration 5. There is no delay in divine wealth. It arrives in perfect rhythm, right on time. Release the pressure. Release the panic. Midnight teaches patience. The seed planted does not scream in the soil. It trusts. So, must you. Wealth may be invisible tonight, but it is inevitable by law. Declaration 6. I am worthy of wealth. I am ready to receive. I am already surrounded. This is the declaration of sacred permission. So many block their blessings with shame. Not anymore. You are worthy because you were born. You are ready because you say so. Look again. You are already richer than your fears want you to believe. Declaration 7. Everything I speak tonight comes to life. I speak only what I want to see. This is the gatekeeper. This is the final seal. The mouth no longer serves worry. It serves creation. You are not reporting your lack. You are declaring your law. Now breathe. Let silence wrap around you like a cloak of assurance. These words have entered the soil of spirit. You don't have to see them work. You just have to trust that they are. This is sacred practice. Each night you return to it, you strengthen the frequency. Each time you declare, you reprogram the invisible grid around your life. Wealth is not only drawn to work, it is drawn to words, to divine words, spoken in sacred stillness. And now, you've spoken them. Midnight has heard. The law has moved. The flow has begun. Let your sleep tonight be deeper than fear. Let your soul rest knowing that wealth is no longer coming. It is already here. As the next section unfolds, we'll go deeper into how to anchor these declarations with your subconscious mind so that even in silence, your spirit continues to speak abundance. Something changes after the midnight declarations, but it is not loud. It does not scream or knock on your door. It whispers, it breathes beneath your ribs. It walks into the silent corridors of your being and quietly rearranges the furniture of your belief. You begin to feel it before you see it. The shift from lack to law, from I wish to I speak, from maybe to it is done. Your breath deepens. The mind begins to slow down. The heart, once racing with fear, starts to open, and for the first time in a long time, it feels safe to trust, safe to believe again, safe to release the grip of lack. The inner voice softens. It no longer says, how will I survive? It begins to declare, I am sustained by divine supply. The tension in your shoulders eases, the heavy questions lose their weight, and there, in that holy pause, is your proof. Because the first miracle is not money in your hand, it is peace in your soul. It is the return of calm, the quiet awakening that says, something is different now. You are no longer begging the world to see your worth. You are commanding your world with divine authority. You are no longer striving, pushing, or proving. You are allowing. You are receiving. You are being. This is the inner shift, the sacred recalibration, from desperation to dominion. From I hope it finds me to it is drawn to me by divine right. Because when you stop chasing, you start attracting. When the hunger for proof subsides, the universe sends evidence. When the panic is quieted, alignment begins. The universe does not respond to panic. It moves on faith. It listens not to how loud your request is, but to how deep your conviction is. It hears the still voice that says, it's already mine. Close your eyes. Feel that stillness now, like ripples in water, barely moving, yet undeniably alive. The surface may appear unchanged, but deep below, the whole sea is shifting. That is how wealth answers. Not always with lightning or applause, but with a quiet rearranging, a soft reordering of your inner world, and that soft shift will soon harden into form. Sometimes wealth arrives wrapped in silence. Sometimes it comes as the peace that replaces anxiety. Sometimes it shows up first as an idea, as clarity, as a conversation that confirms what your spirit already knew. Florence Scovel Shinn wrote, the subconscious has no sense of humor and people often joke themselves into unhappy experiences. So you stop saying things you don't want to live. You stop making agreements with lack. Even in jest, you no longer tell stories that shrink your soul. You no longer call poverty your reality. Because your words are no longer casual. They are commands. They are contracts. They are sacred. Look back for a moment. Just days ago, your inner world felt like a storm. Your heart was clenched. Your mind was racing. You were trying to solve the outer world with outer tools. Now you've remembered the real law, that the outer always obeys the inner, that nothing moves in your bank account until it first moves in your belief. Now your heart opens like morning light through a cracked door. This is not a fragile hope. This is divine knowing, a rooted certainty that says, I am the wealth, that supply is within me. I walk in the vibration of overflow. You no longer look around and wonder if it's coming. You look within and bless it as already done, and that blessing becomes the bridge between spirit and form. Midnight was not a time, it was a gate. Your declarations were not words, they were keys, and now, the inner door has opened. You may not see the riches yet, but your soul already holds them. Your energy already carries them, and soon, so will your hands. So don't measure your progress by what the world shows you. Measure it by what your spirit knows. Measure it by how still you feel inside, how deeply you trust, how easily you breathe, because the shift from lack to law is not about noise, it's about frequency. It's not about how loud you speak, it's about how aligned you are when you say it. Breathe into that alignment now. Let the echo of I am replace the scream of I need. Let the vibration of truth dissolve the residue of fear. This is the sacred pivot. The holy turn. Where wealth stops being something you chastened, becomes something you carry. Let that be your new reality. Not something to earn, but something to embody. The divine wealth isn't coming, it is revealed, and it reveals itself to those who no longer doubt they are worthy. It appears to those who no longer ask for permission to receive. It responds to the ones who no longer shift their words only, but their entire being. Stand in that frequency. Stand in that knowing. You have already stepped through the gate. Now stay in the vibration that keeps it open. After the midnight declaration, there is nothing more to push, nothing more to prove. You have spoken. Now, let the silence do the rest. For in the language of the Spirit, sleep is not a pause, it is a passage. A holy veil lifts when your eyes close, and the words you've planted, those sacred seeds of truth, they do not lie dormant, they begin to bloom in the night. Neville Goddard called sleep the gateway to the subconscious, the sacred womb of manifestation, the divine meeting place between your inner command and outer creation. In your waking hours, your mind reasons, doubts, interrupts, but in sleep there are no guards at the gate. There is only reception, only openness, only divine agreement. So, after your midnight words, those soul-drenched affirmations, you do not worry, you do not wander into fear, you surrender, because what you say before sleep is the final instruction your subconscious receives. Imagine this: you lie down, your body relaxed, but your spirit fully engaged. Your room is dark, but something brighter begins to move in the invisible. A golden scroll appears in your imagination, and angels, silent scribes of divine law, are writing your words in letters of light. Every declaration, every affirmation, they do not fade into the void. They echo, they record, they manifest. You see them now, words glowing in the air. I am a magnet for divine wealth. My supply is unlimited and flows with ease. Heaven completes what I speak. These are not just affirmations. They are assignments given to the universe, charged with power, sustained by law. As your breath slows, another vision unfolds. A golden doorway, wide open, and through it flow the very things you have spoken into life. Ideas, money, clients, connections, unexpected blessings, flowing not with force, but with grace. Not by effort, but by alignment. This is not imagination. It is participation. Your subconscious does not know the difference between what you see with your eyes and what you see with your spirit, so you give it a new picture. You don't fall asleep in worry. You fall asleep in truth. You do not say, I hope it comes. You say, it is already mine. You do not wonder how. You rest in the knowing that the how is heaven's business, and your job is simply to believe, to speak, and to rest. Say this now, softly, like a whisper through the veil. While I sleep, heaven completes my words. Feel the peace in that. Feel the release. There is nothing else to figure out. Nothing else to solve. You've already sent the instruction. The law is now in motion. And divine law does not forget. It does not fail. Florence Scovel Shinn wrote, you must act as if you had already received. And so you sleep as the one who has. You sleep as the one who knows the answer is already on the way. Not because of effort, but because of alignment. Not through force, but through frequency. As your body rests, your soul travels. It enters the realm where time bends, where limitation disappears, where spiritual law is not theory, but motion. It is here your word becomes flesh. Here your vibration forms matter. Here your faith draws the pattern. Breathe gently now, and see the scroll being sealed. Your words are signed by spirit, witnessed by angels, and delivered to the divine storehouse of manifestation. Sleep is no longer just a physical need. It is your co-creation chamber. It is the altar where your soul meets source. As you drift, you are not letting go into darkness. You are entering light, the light of divine activity, the invisible architecture of your answered prayer. Let your final thoughts be sacred. Let them be drenched in faith. Say again, while I sleep, heaven completes my words. Let it repeat, like a song, a lullaby for the soul, because your spirit is still awake even when your eyes are closed, and the law never sleeps. You have nothing to chase. You've already been heard. Now let the silence be your sanctuary. Let rest become your receiving. Let sleep activate the law. When you wake, you will not be the same. something will have shifted, something will have moved, not just around you but within you. And that is where true wealth always begins. The morning is not just a new day. It is the echo of what you planted in the silence of midnight. It is the divine response to the words you dared to speak when the world was still and the heavens were listening. What you declared in the unseen now begins to take form. This is not coincidence. This is the law of expectancy in motion. The soul that wakes with gratitude becomes a magnet for multiplied blessings. As the sun touches your face, you are stepping into a sacred contract that was signed while you slept. The angels you called upon in your final thoughts have already begun their work. Your only task now is to receive, not with hesitation, but with holy certainty, before your feet touch the ground. Pause, breathe in the stillness, feel the weight of the unseen gifts arriving. Whisper this truth aloud. Something good is already on its way, not might be, not I hope it comes, but already, because heaven doesn't delay when faith is present. When your words align with divine law, manifestation becomes inevitable. This is the essence of the law of expectancy. What you expect with faith, you magnetize with power. What you prepare for, you make room for. And what you give thanks for in advance, you accelerate into form. Say it again, this time with your hand on your heart. I am walking into what I spoke last night. Let this sentence become your soul's first rhythm of the day. You are not waking up to chase outcomes. You are waking up to receive them. You are not starting from lack. You are starting from a field that was already sown. You are not beginning again. You are continuing what your spirit already initiated in the unseen. This is the spiritual harvest of midnight declarations, and it begins not with action but with recognition. Stand by your window or step into the light. Lift your arms wide, like the gates of possibility have opened. Visualize golden currents of abundance flowing toward you, not in the distance, not one day, now. This moment, let your body feel the shift. Let your thoughts open to evidence. Let your heart prepare for good news. You are not a beggar of blessings. You are the beloved of divine law. You spoke your truth. Now it must return. Florence Scovel Shinn wrote, "There is no loss in divine mind." This means what is for you cannot be withheld. It means that the morning does not ask for your struggle. It asks for your agreement. The inner agreement that says, it is working. The inner agreement that says, I don't chase, I attract. The inner agreement that says, I expect miracles and miracles expect me. These are not motivational slogans. They are spiritual codes. Speak them with awareness. Speak them as if heaven is listening again, because it is. Take your journal, begin writing. Don't wait for something big to happen. Miracles always begin in the details. Write down what flows in a message from someone unexpected. A shift in your feeling, an opportunity you didn't see yesterday, a small provision that opens a large door. These are confirmations. The outer is aligning because the inner has shifted. Track the evidence. It trains your subconscious to believe faster. It trains your soul to trust deeper, and it trains your reality to reflect your highest vibration. The morning is not passive. It is the most active moment of alignment. If you start it with spiritual command, the rest of the day bows in agreement. So declare this now. I receive what is mine. I walk in answered prayer. I don't repeat the old story. I write the new one. Let this become your rhythm as you brush your teeth, prepare your tea. Step into the world that this is not just a routine. It is a sacred ritual of remembrance. You are not waiting to be chosen. You were chosen the moment you chose to believe. And now, it is time to walk as one who is already in possession. Expect the divine nods. Expect the closed doors to open. Expect the small steps to carry you to wide places. Not in arrogance, in alignment. The law of expectancy says, as within, so without. So this morning, look at the world as if it's already rearranged for your good, because it has. The spiritual order of manifestation is this. You speak in faith, you sleep in surrender, you rise in expectancy, and then you receive. You are in the final movement of the divine orchestra. The silent gate of destiny has swung open now. All that is left is for you to walk through. The morning has heard your midnight. And the universe has already begun to answer. Welcome the unfolding, because what you spoke is no longer in the future. It is now walking toward you, and as you rise in gratitude, it rises to meet you. The moment you speak with faith, the universe listens, but do not confuse silence for absence. Do not mistake stillness for inactivity. In the unseen, the gears begin turning the moment the decree leaves your lips. Florence Scovel Shinn declared it clearly: the universe moves the moment you speak, but it manifests in divine sequence, not human impatience. This is the law of sequential manifestation. It does not delay. It aligns. It calibrates the infinite to meet you at your level of belief. And here is the sacred pattern few speak of, yet it has never failed those who trust. It is called the 3-day evidence rule. 3 sacred days. 3 silent nights, 72 hours where the heavens gather what belongs to you. If you speak clearly, if you declare without begging, if your words carry the vibration of completion, then within 3 days, you will see something move. It may not be the full picture. It may be a whisper, a nudge, a text, a refund, a client, a dream, or a door that swings open. But it will be divine evidence that your word has not returned void. The divine does not ignore a spoken truth drenched in unwavering faith. Your tongue is the activator. Your belief is the lockpick. Your voice is the command post of creation. And so, I ask you now, are you willing to test the invisible? Are you willing to stop doubting and speak with such clarity that the unseen must obey? Say it with me. I do not wait for signs. I am the sign. I speak, and heaven responds. This is not superstition. It is sacred law. It is the subconscious blueprint that Florence revealed through decades of unwavering spiritual work. She said, every great work, every big accomplishment, has been brought into manifestation through holding to the vision, and often, just before the big achievement, comes apparent failure and discouragement. So do not be dismayed if day 1 is silent. Do not shrink if day 2 brings testing. By day 3, the veil begins to lift. You are not just hoping for a miracle. You are announcing one. Here is your spiritual challenge. Tonight, and for the next 3 nights, speak your wealth, your peace, your healing, your breakthrough at midnight. Not in fear, not in frantic pleading, but as one who knows the law, as one who commands with divine authority. Say this. I speak now, and what I declare begins moving within 3 days. Heaven is moving for me, even in this moment. And as you rise each morning, be alert. Write down what shifts, record the alignment. Note the synchronicities. You will see the divine in the details. A message from someone you thought forgotten. A payment you never expected. An idea so sharp it cuts through confusion. Do not dismiss it. The 3-day evidence rule is not always loud. It is often gentle. It walks like a whisper but carries the power of thunder. Let this be your covenant. For 3 days I speak with holy boldness. For 3 days I expect movement. For 3 days I walk as one who already has it. Do not question if it will work. Question only if you will work it. Because spiritual law never fails. It only waits for your agreement. If you still carry doubt, place it on the altar of surrender. You were not meant to create from fear. You were designed to co-create through faith. Repeat after me. My words are keys. My voice is sacred. My declaration is law, and the law moves now. Say it tonight. Say it tomorrow. Say it the next night. And watch heaven will answer your clarity. Not because you pleaded, but because you knew who you were when you spoke. This is the law. And for the next 3 days, it will not return empty. Let the manifestation begin. There is a rhythm to receiving, not a rhythm born of striving, but one rooted in stillness, alignment, and sacred repetition. Florence knew this. She taught not from frenzy, but from devotion, not from wishing, but from divine certainty. And now, I offer you a ritual, a holy practice of wealth remembrance, a 14-day gateway into the field where divine substance meets spiritual command. This is not a routine, it is a reverent act of spiritual preparation. Each night, for the next 14 nights, you are to walk into the invisible temple of wealth and make your request known, not with fear, not with force, but with the quiet confidence of one who belongs in the house of riches. Here is your sacred structure. Choose a space that feels holy to you. It may be a corner of your room, a balcony beneath the stars, a place where the air is still and your breath can return to center. Light a candle, one flame to represent divine substance. It is not just wax and wick. It is your symbolic agreement with the universe that you are no longer begging, you are now aligning. Sit with yourself and speak aloud, not fast, not frantically, but slowly, with reverence, with intention. With presence. Speak these words. I deny appearances. I declare divine substance. Say it again. Let each syllable open a door. Let each word rebuild the world. This is the law of substitution in action. You are replacing the illusion of lack with the presence of eternal supply. Let your voice become the sacred tuning fork. Let your declarations rearrange the field. You may choose to add more. Let the words rise from your soul, not from a script. I am the vessel through which divine wealth flows. All things needed for my abundance are now appearing. I no longer serve fear. I serve the divine economy. And once you have spoken, sit in the silence. Let the silence answer. Do not grasp. Do not rush. This is a ritual of reception, not desperation. Then, the next morning before the world rushes in, take your midnight journal of miracles and begin writing. Capture the signs. Record the shifts. Write the dreams. Note the synchronicities. This journal is your proof of movement. It is your sacred evidence log. It reminds you that the spiritual law is alive and responding. You are not just building wealth. You are building awareness. You are training your mind to expect divine provision. Each page becomes a stone in your altar. Each entry a testament to the law that never fails. Florence said, "Your word is your wand." So speak each night as if heaven is listening, because it is. This ritual is not about performance. It is about presence. It is about resetting your soul's compass toward wealth. Some nights you may feel powerful, other nights tender. Both are holy. Both are welcome in the temple. If you feel resistance, write it down. Speak to it. Say, "See you, fear, but I no longer serve you." This is your 14-day soul commitment. Not to chase money, but to embody wealth consciousness. If doubt arises, do not fight it. Bless it. Then return to the flame. Return to the word. Return to the silence. Let this become your rhythm. Candle declaration. Stillness. JOURNALING. You will find that something shifts, not only around you, but within you. You begin to walk differently, expect differently, receive differently, because wealth is not something you earn in this practice. It is something you remember. It is something you reclaim. And when you commit for 14 nights, you are not just engaging in repetition. You are building spiritual momentum. You are creating a gravitational pull of good around your life. Let the world rush. You will be still. Let the outer world panic. You will light your flame, because you now know the secret. The divine does not reward effort. It responds to clarity, faith, and sacred consistency. So begin tonight. Choose your space, light your candle, speak your truth, and let the flame within you remember. For these 14 nights, you are not a seeker. You are a revealer. You are the priest or priestess of your own financial temple. And wealth, now sacred, is already on its way. Let the ritual begin. There is a moment the world sleeps, and the soul wakes. When clocks no longer measure time, only readiness. In that hour, when the world is silent and shadows stretch long across the floor, something ancient within you rises. You are no longer just a seeker. You are the speaker, the one who calls forth the unseen. You are the soul who woke up, not from sleep, but from doubt, from smallness, from the lie of lack. You walked through the invisible gate. You lit your candle. You spoke your sacred words, and the universe heard you. Not as a wish, not as a whisper, but as a command. Now stand in that knowing. Feel the shift in the air around you. That is not imagination. That is evidence. The field has moved. The word has been sown. Say it with me now, from the depths of your inner temple. With no apology, with no hesitation. I am the voice of divine wealth. Let that sentence echo through your bones. Feel how it rearranges your posture, how it crowns your spirit. You are not asking anymore. You are announcing. Say this. My words at midnight shape my dawn. And they do. Every syllable you've spoken in faith has left your mouth like gold dust into the ether. The divine orchestra has already begun to respond. Heaven did not hesitate. It moved with you. You no longer wonder. You know now. Place your hand over your heart. Let the warmth of your palm be your seal, and speak the final decree, the one that unlocks the vault, the one Florence herself knew held the power of fulfillment. It is done. It is done. It is done. Say it again if your soul trembles. Say it until your body remembers. Say it until every room you walk into feels it before you speak, because this is your turning. This is your remembering. This is your inheritance claiming you back. Now, In the comments, write it with faith. It is done. And let that be your final prayer as the candle fades and the new morning begins. Your word has gone out, and it shall not return void. It is done.